This administration, I think its past doesn't care about Texas. I think this administration is interested in punishing Texas. And let me finish with one story of why I make that statement. That's a pretty powerful statement. Friday a week ago, not a phone call from Washington, not a letter from Washington. As a matter of fact, I don't think any of our congressional delegation was even notified. The first time we were contacted was by the superintendent of school and the county judge of Presidio County. They said, do you all know what's fixing to happen? I said, well, no, what's going on? They said, the government has just called us and said for us to get ready for an influx of illegal aliens who were captured illegally crossing the border from San Diego to Nogales, Mexico, Nogales, Arizona, way on the western side of this country. It's called the Alien Transfer and Exit Program. Trucking them from Nogales, past El Paso, down to our western border at Presidio. Now, I'm sure some of you have been to Presidio, Texas. It's a great little city of 4,600. Taking those individuals, these are 20 to 60-year-old Mexican males who've been captured illegally in the United States, to the middle of that bridge and turning them loose and saying, so long. 92 per day. In 2 months, you will have doubled the population of Presidio, Texas. This is a city that does not have the social services, does not have the law enforcement, does not have the ability in any form or fashion to handle that type of influx of people. And I say that about Presidio because you know what's going to happen. They're faced with the Chihuahuan Desert, or Texas. They're turning around and going back into Texas. Do the math on that. In a year period of time, we're talking 28,000 plus people that are going to be turned loose on our border. This is an administration that I see punishing this state. I say it's time for us to stand up. I say it's time to make tea parties twice as big as what they were. I think it's time for us to stand up and say, we message to Washington, D.C. We are no longer going to accept that type of stuff, sitting down and being quiet. And let me tell you, it works. If you don't think those tea parties didn't work, let me tell you something. When they all came home in August, David, and were going to different places and town hall meetings and what, hey, they got an earful. Then they went back to Washington, D.C., and the Senate voted that public option down in Senate committee with a majority Democrats in the Senate and in that committee. You better believe they're listening. This is an administration hell-bent on taking America towards a socialist country. And we ought not be afraid to say that, because that's what it is. And we're talking about, here's how you're going to deliver health care in your state. Jose, this is how it's going to be. That scares me greatly. We know best how to do that, David. We've had waivers into Washington, to the Health and Human Services Agency, for over 18 months, asking for them to give us waivers so that we can better, more efficiently, get more people on insurance, put preventative health care issues into and incentives to get our doctors and hospitals to use those. But they will not give us that approval. Just like they won't give us approval for 1,000 National Guard troops. And I think one of our greatest challenges and our greatest works in front of us right now is to stop this administration in Washington using whatever tools we have at our disposal, whether it's the courts or whether it's the bully pulpit of the lieutenant governor and the governor's office together, whether it's making sure that we elect more men and women like were elected last Tuesday in other states. I am not bashful to get up and say, I believe in the 10th Amendment. I believe the 10th Amendment was written for a reason. And I wish governors will stand up. My family don't care whether it's a Democrat or a Republican governor, but I hope they will stand up and say, Washington, we don't want you mandating how to run our states. We best know how to deliver health care in our state. This plan that they are putting before us will devastate this country and bankrupt our state. And if that one's not bad enough, go take a look at that cap and trade legislation that passed. You want to shut down Midland, Texas? That ought to be the shut down Midland, Texas legislation, not cap and trade. It's going to cap something, all right. It's going to cap the economy of the entire southern United States. And do nothing. Nothing for the environment. Even the EPA director herself said, if you pass that piece of legislation, it will make zero impact on our environment.